Okay, let us begin. Welcome back as we continue in our learnings on the Parshat. This week being Parshat. No. The guy's in Eretz Yisrael, he's up to Chukas, but here in Chutz La'aretz, we're up to Korach. So let's dive into some of the ideas that we can learn from Parshat Korach. Obviously, the big one is the fact that Korach, the holy person that he was, got misguided and had the audacity, the chutzpah, to fight against Moshe Rabbeinu. So much so that he lost his life, and many other people who joined him lost their lives fighting against Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, Rashi tells us what got Korach going. Let's not blame the wife right away. His wife was involved in getting him moving. But what was it that Korach saw? A jealousy of what? So, right, correct, 100% correct. Korach was envious that Elitzaphan ben Uziel was appointed to be the leader of Bnei Kehat. And Moshe Rabbeinu said he chose him because Hashem told him to choose. But Korach said, listen, Kehat had 4 sons. Amram, the eldest, had 2 sons who took all the greatness. One is king, Moshe Rabbeinu is Melech, and one is Kohen Gadol. Who deserves the next position? I'm the son of Yitzhar, the second son. And yet Moshe went and appointed the son of the youngest brother. And that's where Korach got mistaken. I think the first thing that shoots at us when we look at this, I think the first thing we have to realize that this is exactly how the Yetzer Hara works. If you ever want to know if it's the Yetzer Hara, well, one of the litmus tests, the main litmus test of the Yetzer Hara, one of the main litmus tests of the Yetzer Hara is the Yetzer Hara makes rationales. He explains it to you, why you should be upset, why you should be so against it. When you start rationalizing something, right away you have to ask yourself, is this me? Is this a legit rationalization? Or is this the Yetzer Hara trying to disguise the sin as a L'Shem Shemayim? That's a very important litmus test. Before anything I get all excited and worked up upon, right? And I have all this righteous zealousness in me. Why is it actually happening?
But if Hashem told him, why are you even questioning it?
And that's one of the biggest mistakes here. Moshe kibel Torah misinai. Our whole Torah, our whole Misorah is based on the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu got it from God. If you can question Moshe Rabbeinu, you're in essence questioning Hashem, the whole Torah, the whole Misorah, the whole Yahadut. One question on Moshe Rabbeinu, and you can knock everything out. So Korach going against Moshe Rabbeinu is really denying the fundamental principle of Torah Misinai. So what made Korach do this? Why did he start to rationalize? I should have gotten it. It should have been me. If you go according to the sons and the eldest, youngest, beautiful explanations, by the way. A lot of people do this. Why you put me here? Why you put me like this? Why you say like, hey, you know who I am? Man ki tu ki. All these rationalizations. Always had up.
No, there's halakha.
The halakha is for you not to get angry. What the other person has to do is their business.
No, older child gets respect from younger. So now they switched it and it triggered it.
No, but who chose it? Hashem chose it. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't choose it.
I understand, but what we've been drilled since childhood. Give kavod to your older brother. So now I'm expecting kavod, and then all of a sudden I have to give kavod to younger brother.
So let me explain to you. So you say very good, but let me give you the thing. There's 2 sides to it. There's 2 sides to it. You as the older brother never expect kavod. That's not your job. The job of the younger brother is to give kavod to the older brother. It's not the job of the older brother to say, you're supposed to give me kavod. That's not his job. It's the same thing with a marriage, right? When each one is demanding from the other to give them proper respect, you're never going to have it. If each one gives it, you're going to have it. If each one wants it, say you have to be like this to me, you have to be like that to me. The guy nicht nowhere. You don't go anywhere. It has to be what it's given. Now, let's look at Korach for a moment. How did Korach get to this point to say, Moshe, you're wrong? And he has a good rationale for it. Where did he get to this? The root was that he needed honor. He needed kavod. Makes a difference. You're president, you're not president. Yeah, if you want kavod, then it'll make all the difference. But where did he get this kavod? Why did he need this kavod? It's because of ga'ava. What causes a person to want kavod? It's ga'ava, it's arrogance. He sees himself as more special, more superior, more better. So if that's the case, you have to give me honor, because I'm more better than you. That's right. The Gemara says, the Gemara in Sanhedrin teaches that people differ in 3 ways. People are different than each other in 3 ways. Number 1, people are different in voice. People are different in appearance, and people are different in intellect. Voice, appearance, intellect. Some people feel very superior. They have a nice voice. They're able to be a good hazan, right? They're able to do things that other people can't. So what happens sometimes? Hits them in the head, and they become a Baal Gava. Appearance. Someone who looks more handsome. Someone who looks more beautiful, right? They get to be very prideful. Look at me. Someone with more intellect. Someone who feels he's smarter than other people. Walks around and thinks that he's more superior. When Hashem sent Shmuel to go to the house of Yishai and to anoint one of his children as the king, what did Hashem tell Shmuel? Hashem said, do not look at his appearance or his lofty stature, for I have rejected him. Because Shmuel saw someone that looked very kingly, very noble, and he wanted to make him. And Hashem said, no. For man sees with his eyes, but Hashem sees where? Into the heart of the person. You see, you can walk around looking all superior, but in the end of the day, Hashem measures a person by the purity of his heart, not his outward appearance. Therefore, there's no valid reason for a person to walk around and say, look at me, I look so nice. You should be nice to me. You should treat me better. That's not the way it works. Chazal tell us an interesting story. Gemara Masechet Ta'anit on Daf Zayin tells us, Rabbi Yeshua ben Hananiah met the daughter of the Caesar. And Yeshua was a great scholar, very respected. And he always came to the Roman Caesar to deliver messages. But despite his immense wisdom, he had a lot of chachma. He was a big Talmud Chacham. Yeshua was not physically attractive. He didn't look good. Put it that way. Okay? And she meets him, and she says, such glorious wisdom in such an unattractive vessel.
Golden barrels.
So very good. So you know the story. So Yeshua said to her, let me ask you, where does your father store the wine? She says, wine? We store them in clay jugs. He says, listen, you got such nice wine. Why keep it in clay jugs? Put it into a gold pitcher, a silver pitcher. Put it in the barrels of gold and silver. That's where you should keep it. And she said, it's a great advice. She got the servants to change all the wine from clay jugs into gold and silver. A few weeks later, what happens? The Caesar takes it out, and he sees it's all ruined. He says, who did this? They said, your daughter told us to do this. So they called the daughter. She says, Yeshua said, why should I keep the wine? Ask him. So Yeshua was summoned. Yeshua explained. He says, the princess asked, how such magnificent wisdom can dwell in an unattractive vessel? And I gave her my own very own question. How could you put wine in clay when it belongs in nicer vessels? So the Caesar understood, but the Caesar had a follow-up question for Yeshua. And this is the key. The Caesar said, but there are a lot of Talmidei Chachamim who do look beautiful. You had to be chacham. They're very beautiful, shiny face, very symmetrical, nice long beard, thin, slim, well put together. So the Caesar said, hey, you're saying that wisdom can be in an unattractive, that the wine has to be in clay, but there's so many pretty or handsome Talmidei Chachamim. So what was Yeshua's answer?
From barrel goes into...
No. Listen to his answer. He said, had they been less attractive, their wisdom would have been even greater. You hear Yeshua's answer? He said, if these Talmidei Chachamim weren't so handsome, they would be even greater Talmidei Chachamim. Not saying someone shouldn't be handsome or good looking, but the idea is external beauty can hinder the absorption of wisdom. I'm busy with the way how I look. I look good, so I got to make sure my beard nice, this, that nice, right? It takes away from time. The Torah seeks out modesty. It seeks out humbleness.
Don't you have to be presentable?
Yes, you're presentable, 100%. But Yeshua is teaching us the more we're involved in our appearance, not mean you shouldn't walk out all scruffy and like a crazy person, but you shouldn't spend also so much time on your appearances and stuff. And he's even talking about the physical characteristics of being just naturally, genetically disposed to be more beautiful, apparently will take away from your wisdom. That's what he says here. Now, there's a pasuk in Eov. The pasuk in Eov says as follows. V'achachma me'ayin timatzeh. But for wisdom, where can it be found? Okay, again, the Hebrew is v'achachma me'ayin timatzeh. The Mefarshim say, what does this mean? Hachachma comes from where? Me'ayin. It can be found from ayin, from nothingness, humbleness. When a person is low and stuff like that, that is where you find the wisdom. Now, what makes stuff even more complicated is, there's a Gemara in Masechet Nidara. The Gemara says, listen to this, Abutai. I'm going to be Yochanan. Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mashre Shechinato. Hashem doesn't put his Shechina on a Navi unless the Navi has four things. You ready? You have to have these four things to get Hashem Shechina so you can become a Navi. Gibor, Ashir, Chacham, Ve'anav. Gibor, he has to be mighty. He has to be rich. He has to be wise. And he has to be an anav. Now, one second. You just told me chachma, external stuff, they're all going to take away from your ability to be smart. Right? Because the person feels all prideful. And how over here it tells you have to be mighty, to be strong. You have to have money. And how does this work?
Looks involved.
Not looks, but it's still talking about money. Still talking about being strong. How does that being a Navi? So here's the clincher, Abutai. What did the Pasuk say at the end? Anav. You could be handsome. You could have a lot of money. You could have a lot of muscles. And that's all fine. But who are you in the end? Are you Anav? If you're a humble person, like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was Gibor. He put up the Mishkan on his own. Moshe Rabbeinu was rich. The stones from the Luchot, right? He was able to sell. He was able to make a lot of money from that. Moshe Rabbeinu was Chacham Gadol. But how come he didn't go the wrong way? Ve'ish Moshe Anav Me'od. What does this mean to be Anav? How does a person view all the stuff that he has? How do you view the things that you have? This external things, this handsomeness, this moneyness, this mightness, the strength that you have. How do you view it? The chachma, the wisdom that you have. Do you view it? Look what I have, and therefore serve me and be better to me? Or do you look at it as Hashem gave me, and now I have a responsibility to use it appropriately? Right? How do I view the same thing? That same $5 million that's in your bank account, right? You have $5 million that's in your bank account. Everyone knows he has $5 million, right? How do you view that $5 million? Ooh, look at me. I have the $5 million, and everybody has to give me more respect. I want a better seat up there. I want here. I want there. Or like Gabriel, he still wears the same clothing, same glasses, same everything.
Because he doesn't have the
and he gives the money to the people where it needs to be. He views the assets that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to him as a responsibility and not as a form of being prideful from it. That's what it means to be anav. Moshe Rabbeinu was rich. Moshe Rabbeinu was smart. Moshe Rabbeinu was gibor. But he didn't look at himself like that. He looked at himself, anav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to me. You know, the Havetz Haim, they say, the Havetz Haim would lock himself in a room and he would talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's about right? And they once overheard him saying, Hashem, he says to Hashem, you let me write the Mishnah Berurah. You let me write the Hafez Haim. You let me write the Havan Hesed. You gave me to do all these things. What did I do for you, Hashem? What did I do for you? What can I... He wrote all these books. And he's saying, Hashem, you let me write it. You gave it to me. What can I still do for you? All right? That's exactly the point. How do you view your accomplishments? How do you view what you have? How do you view what you do? Do you take... Now, you have to have self-confidence. This is not negating from that. But at the end of the day, who gave it to you? Where is it coming from? How are you viewing it? Are you letting it ruin you? Or are you letting it understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given it to us and we have a responsibility to use it correctly? Here he brings, Rabbi Elbaz brings an interesting story. I don't know if this is a true story, or I tried looking it up, wasn't able to find it, but it's still, the idea is very important. So there was a high-ranking general in the American Army, highly decorated for his military achievements, but he was obsessed with honor. If someone merely appeared to disrespect him, he would suffer consequences. He'd lose his job and stuff like that. He loved listening to music, and he heard about a prestigious concert featuring a world-renowned musician, conducted by one of the greatest conductors in the world. And in order to attend, he had to fly across the country. He arrived at the airport. Now, I don't know why he's not flying private, but whatever. He's at the commercial airport, and he's trying to get a ticket, and they told him the plane is completely booked. There's no more room. And he says to them, look over here. You see all these medals? You see all this stuff? You have to take someone off the plane. They said, we can't. We pay that. They said, I don't care. Get me onto the plane. So, listen, he's a general in the army. He's high-ranking. They don't want any problems. They go onto the plane, and they pick somebody, and they tell him, you're out. He says, but I have a ticket. I paid. They said, we don't care. You're going to get the next flight. We're going to give you a voucher, schmoucher. No, he gets out. The general...
Why they picked him, or why didn't they...
Again, it's a story. You don't ask questions on the story. The guy goes onto the plane. He gets his flight. He gets to the other city. He goes to the concert. He gets to the concert. There's a big sign that says cancel.
The conductor.
So they say, what happened? Big story going around, big scandal. What happened? Some general had to get on a plane and they kicked the conductor off the plane, and now the conductor couldn't make it to his concert. So this guy flew all the way there, did all this craziness, and didn't end up getting anything at all. And we, Rabotai, what is our fate? Anyone who chases after honor, anyone who says, look what I have, and why people should honor me, is being a Korach. And what he's doing, he's going to lose everything. Korach was killed. Korach is done for. Because he went against Moshe Rabbeinu by using his pride. Everyone has to remember, I am in essence a lowly clerk in this world. I handle $1 million daily, but it's not my money. It's not my money. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's money. Everything belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Vilna Gaon taught that even matters in wisdom, a person must recognize that any level of Torah knowledge he attained, even after toiling and studying day and night, is ultimately a result of Hashem's gift. So don't think I learned. Yes, if you learn, you'll understand. How? Via a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That goes back to the famous Midrash of Moshe Rabbeinu when he was in Shemayim for 40 days. The Midrash says, every day he learned, every day he forgot. After 40 days, what happened? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to him as a gift. That's the way it works in Torah and in everything in life. You work on it, you think you're doing something, it's not you at all. You have to do something. Torah you have to learn, right? Rav Shachter, Rosh Yeshiva Avishayis Mitzvah Chanon, says that he once, when he was in his younger age, he went to the Stipler Gaon. And he went to the Stipler Gaon, and he said to the Stipler, I want to ask for a bracha, a few different stuff. So he asked for children, the Stipler gave him a bracha. He asked for Menuchas HaNefesh, the Stipler gave him a bracha. He said to the Stipler Gaon, I want a bracha so I should be able to learn and understand Torah. And the Stipler told him for that. Disciple said, there's no such bracha. He said, no such bracha. It means there's no such bracha. Give me a bracha, I can learn Torah. And he says, you want to learn Torah? Sit down and learn. That's how you'll learn Torah. There is no shortcuts. That's how it's done. And so, but even if a person does that, and he spends years understanding the Sukkah, the Vilna Gaon says, you take no pride in that. That was all a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Many great people have fallen because they thought of themselves as a yish. I'm a somebody. I'm a something. Whoever. I'm a somebody. I'm a something. And as such, they felt the old stuff. People have to respect them. People have to show them difference. People have to realize that we are just clerks. We're nothing. We're just servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu doing our little parts. Doing our little parts in this world. Listen to this amazing story. There's a man, came home, it's a koil man, he comes home and he finds his house complete and utter mess. Floors, filthy, everything terrible. And he was learning the yeshiva of Chacham ben Zion Abba Shaul, Zecha Tzadik Lebracha. So he decided right there and then, he's going home. He's going to Chacham ben Zion Abba Shaul's house to confront him, to ask him what to do for his wife, that she will clean the house. Listen to the story. I'm making this up. This is being said by Rabbi Reuven Elbashlit. That's what he says the story is. He goes to Chacham ben Zion Abba Shaul's house, and the door is opened by a family member, and this Avrech, this Kolo guy, almost fainted, he said. What does he see? Chacham ben Zion Abba Shaul there. His pants rolled up, house slippers on his feet, washing the floor. He came to complain that his house was filthy and not clean, and he sees the Rosh Yeshiva cleaning the floors.
Go clean yourself.
Okay? Seeing this, the man fled in silence. By the way, it doesn't say Chacham ben Zion Abba Shaul had cameras in his house, knew he was coming for. He was doing this thing. By the way, Rav Zev Smith says the same thing. He went to visit when he got newly married, he went to visit Rav Pam on Chol Moed. And he comes to Rav Pam's house, and someone opens the door to let him in. Rav Pam is standing at the sink washing dishes. Okay. He's married. He's got obligations. Yeah, you got to do things. You're not the same way. You know, the same way we got to fold the boxes and put it in the for the recycling. We have to do it. It's nothing to do with Bukhari and this and that. It has to do with Shalom Bayit. It has to do with getting the job done. There's stuff that have to happen. Diapers have to get changed. Floors have to get washed. Floors have to get swept. All right? You have to learn Torah, and you have to daven, and you have to do a business. Everything has to happen. You just have to somehow get it all done. All right? And Chacham ben Zion Abba Shaul was on the floor. He didn't ask a single question, this guy. He got a slap in his face, went back home. You see a dirty floor? What's the problem? Take them up and clean it. I remember till this very day, the day I got engaged, the official engagement, the Kan Chori. We went we went to my wife's house at the time, the apartment that they were in Regal Park. That was the same week that Rabbi Baruch Babayev came from Israel. He came. He's also related to us, and he came to someone brought him into the engagement. I think after my brother brought him in. He came with my cousin, who was the chauffeur, Rosh Zakandov. So he also came, and they weren't invited, but they all showed up at the engagement. But after the engagement, that kanchari, I was driving my grandmother back, and my grandmother, she tells me in Bukharian she was talking. I don't understand it so well, but good well enough. She said to me, "If you ever come home and the house is not clean, do you know what to do?" Right? We know what to do. She said, pick up the broom. Pick up the broom. Sweep it up. That's it. Well, a whole scene. You're gonna fight. What happens? What happens? You see, we have someone cleaning the floors right now. It's a prime example. Just get it done. It has to happen. It happens. Now, let me tell you what happens. Chas v'shalom, if a person is prideful, he has arrogance. I'm not sweeping up. I'm not doing these things. So now you get in a fight with her. She's going to tell you how tired she is. I went to the store. I bought. I cooked. I cleaned. The kids drove me crazy the whole day. And you're going to say, but I was a business. I worked. I was on my feet. I'm this and that. Everyone's saying, and then you guys fight it out. I don't know. It got clean. Didn't get clean. Something happened. And now you're going to have to undo that damage for the next week, too. You have to try to calm it down. Everything else. So what did you gain? For 3 minutes, back and forth, fight, show who's boss. And then you're spending weeks and months trying to fix something up. Shem, why? You have to do what you have to do. You realize that you're not a prideful person. What are you being prideful of? What are you being prideful of? You're a clerk. We're all clerks. We're all working for the big man. Okay? Whatever the big man gave that job to you to be, that's your job. Whether right now it's learning Torah, that's your job. Now it's time for tefillah, that's your job. When you're home, guess what? You're a husband. You're a father. You're playing ball with the kids. You're playing with them this. You're taking the wife out. Everything is your job, and you will have a job to figure out how to get everything done. It's very important that we realize that if we walk around with this yesh business, that we're somebody, we're going to have millions and millions of problems. And to make matters worse, we say, "En od min lado." There's no one except the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Net, nekavo, kromi, boga, ad navo. And then we walk around, Ktoya, you know who I am? You know who I am? You're nobody. I know exactly who you are. Right? Talking to yourself, not somebody else. Talking to yourself. You look in the mirror and you say, I know exactly who you are. You ain't nobody. All right? And that's the way you can serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu correctly. Listen, Rabotai. There's a famous story of Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld would tell his wife that you will be the one that will bring me into Gan Eden. She said, "Why? What do you mean by that?" Now he wasn't joking around. Not like us. We, joke with our wives. You're the best. You're the this. No. He meant it. He said, you're going to be the one who brings me into Gan Eden. She said, "What do you mean? You shower me with compliments I don't deserve. Why do you think that is? Don't you have enough merits of your own to enter Gan Eden?" He said, when you come to the world above, they will ask you what you did in this world. And you would say, I was the wife of a Gaon. I served a Talmid Chacham. I did Chesed for a Talmid Chacham. And they will say, which Talmid Chacham? And she'll say her husband's name. And the Malachim will tell her, he's not a Hasid, he's not a Gaon, he's not even close. And then you'll tell them, what? I'm not in charge to look. Yes, no. He looked like a Talmid Chacham. He looked like a Gaon. He looked at all these things, so I did it. How was I supposed to know? So they're going to say, you know what? Since you had proper kavanot, you were trying to serve a Talmid Chacham, you were trying to serve a Gaon, they're going to let you go into Gan Eden. And then, what's going to happen? When I arrive, right, they're going to say, Gehenna, straight. I'm not a Hasid, I'm not a Gaon. But then, they're going to say, one second, she said she served a Talmid Chacham. She served a Gaon. And he's sitting in Gehenna. How can that be? We can't have him in there because she's in Gan Eden because she served him. As such, they're going to have to move him out. He's going to have to get a transfer. Him. They're going to transfer him out. They're going to have to transfer him out because she thought he was a Talmid Chacham. So he said, you're going to be the one who is going to get me in to Gan Eden. So the idea is, here, Eretz Chaim Zanafel, the great tzaddik that he was, and the midot that he had, the stories that you can read about him, the way he acted, the way he behaved, and yet he goes around thinking, I don't got nothing. There's no way I can get in Gan Eden. He found a loophole using his wife, how he can get in to Gan Eden. How much we have to recalibrate our thoughts to stop thinking we're somebody and start realizing that we are servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You know, when I was in camp, actually it wasn't camp, it was a Shabbaton that we had in Yeshiva. So Yeshiva Tervadat, we went to one of the camps for Shabbat, and my Rebbe, Zecher Tzadik Ubracha, Rav Yitzchak Komplinsky, the man was an unbelievable person.
Beach 12, that place?
It's probably related. He used to live in Averin, Averin, or what's that place? In the old Jewish community, and that way, 38, 39, like that. But Rav Yitzchak Komplinsky was a survivor of the war. He was a little child in Shanghai. And I remember him waking us up that Shabbos morning. And in Yiddish he said, Shtei tov, la'avodas habayre. Get up to do the work of God. That's how a person wakes up. And that was the cry they used to do in the cities in Europe, in the religious cities. That's what they would do, scream to wake people up. Get up to do the work of God. For every day. This was Shabbat, he was waking us up. For every day, serve God. That's when we wake up in the morning, what are we doing? Why are we in this world? Right away, remember these words. Get up to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that way you remember the entire day. Why am I here? To serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not to serve myself, right? Not to think I'm someone special, but rather I'm here using my special abilities, my capabilities, my talents in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, we're going to go from this to a couple of questions in halakha regarding hotel stays. Everyone's, that the Shabbat, everyone should have the zechut to go away and relax in the summer, whatever it is. So this comes from Rabbi Moshe David Leibowitz, Shlita, someone that I learned in the Beis Medrash with at the same time in Torah Midas. He has a Svarim halachically speaking. He's a Talmud Rav Belsky. And he put out this new one. I think it's pretty much a compilation of other ones that he put together. Hotels in Halacha. We went through some Shalos Tshuva last week from Rav Belsky. This week he brings from different sources. From the Business Halacha Institute, we'll start with that Shaila and Tshuva. Here we go, Rabotai. Family goes to a hotel. They arrived on Thursday night. They unpack and everything. It's 10 p.m. Mrs. Metzger is very thirsty, and she wants a cold drink. In the bar, there's a in the room, there's a mini bar. There's a fridge. She opens it, and the mini bar is stocked with water, soda, and juice, cold. She sees the list of prices on the side, and she sees that one small little water bottle costs $4. Okay, the story goes, that's $4. Double of what it costs in a store. It's already late. And Mrs. Metzger says, we're not going out to the store now. It's already 10 p.m. We're not going out anywhere. So she takes the drink, and she takes the $4 water bottle. Okay. The following day, the Metzgers go out for a walk. They're walking around the town, and they go into a store, and lo and behold, the same bottle of water is there for $2. It's there for $2 now. So she turns to her husband and she says, listen, instead of paying the $4 for the water bottle that I took, we'll buy this one for $2 and we'll put it back in the fridge. It's the same exact item, right? So the question is, can one do that? What? Mitzvah to do that, says Rabbi Meir. So can one do that? The hotel won't know the difference. The hotel won't know the difference. We'll leave the fridge just as much as it's stocked when we found it. They don't lose anything. Anyway, they don't have a right to charge us so much. Highway robbery, right? $4 for a small water bottle. What to do? So Baruch Hashem, this couple is going to call a rabbi to find out. But yes, you wanted to say something.
If I came to you, I borrowed potato. You paid for this potato $1. I went to the store, bought sack of it, 20 cents.
But you heard your story, right? What was the first word you said?
From you?
What was the first word you said? Borrow. This is a very different story.
So she borrowed it.
No, she didn't borrow it. She borrowed it? You can borrow? From a mini fridge? Okay, so listen to this. So Baruch Hashem, they have a rabbi on speed dial, and they called the rabbi. And they asked, may I replace the bottle of water in the minibar with one from the store? Said the Rav, replacing the bottle from the minibar with a bottle from the store is cheating the hotel. When you took the bottle of water, you effectively bought it from the hotel. As such, you are required to pay them according to their set price. He brings down the Shulchan Aruch Choshen Mishpat 101.6, writes that one who buys something must pay the seller with money and not commodities. If you're buying something, you have to pay it with money, not with something else. According to many authorities, this applies even if the customer does not have money to pay with. He's required to sell his assets to raise cash. Unlike a borrower, right? In highlights right here. Unlike a borrower who can repay with an equivalent value of commodities if he does not have money. So a borrower is a different situation. Here, he effectively bought something. And when you're buying something, you have to buy it with cash. This is because the clear understanding and implicit condition is that the seller wants money, not value, in return for his goods. Now he brings a yeshem. Some maintain, however, that if the customer does not have money, he can pay with commodities like a borrower. Even so, if he has money, he must pay with money. So if I really don't have money, then maybe some say I can pay with something else. But if he has money, everyone agrees you have to pay with money. Furthermore, even if you can pay with commodities, the purchase price is set at $4, whereas the bottle in the store is worth only $2. So you would have to pay with 2 bottles because you have to pay back $4. You took what's worth $4. They were selling it for $4. You found it for $2, but you have to pay $4. So you would have, if you can pay with commodities, you would have to pay with 2 water bottles. Replacing a single bottle is insufficient payment. Nonetheless, there is no ona'ah on the hotel's part. The hotel is not doing highway robbery to you, since this is a fair price relative to the context of the sale. In the framework of hotel minibars, $4 for a bottle is reasonable. And as such, it's not highway robbery. So you cannot say, they're charging me too much. You can't say that either. I should add, says the rabbi, that taking a bottle initially without intent to buy it, but rather to use it later and replace it, would be equal to theft. That is certainly forbidden, because the minibar is selling it to you, not giving it to you to replace. So the verdict, he writes over here, a person who takes something from the hotel minibar effectively buys it and is required to pay the hotel the set price.
I stole it.
He may not replace the item with an equivalent item from the store.
I stole it.
You stole it. You did theft, okay?
Now I'm returning it.
Good question. I don't know what you would have to pay at that point. Now, when you pay it back, you used it, or you're giving back the exact same thing?
No, I stole it. I used it.
And you used it, so then you have to pay it back. I would assume you have to pay it back.
Oh, that's why
Is he like a borrower? He could give back the item versus the money? I'm not an expert in Choshen Mishpat. I'm just reading you what it says here. That's a good question. We can follow up with
No,
that.
isn't it you pay 5 times or 5th or whatever, something with price?
No.
If you buy...
Kefo, you're talking about paying double.
No, but I'm saying that the example, the stole the sheep,
Yeah.
and the price times 5 or whatever it was.
And that's if you took it, you shechted it, you sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Times 5?
Yeah.
So the same thing, 5 bottles. Yeah.
No, that's a different story.
Why?
Let's not get lost. I don't know. I don't want to say anything there because I don't know. But we can follow up. But it's a good question. But he did say if you took it, it is considered theft. So now you have to figure out with theft, what do you have to do? Is it, can I pay the back with the item, or if the person is paying back with the money?
Saying he has a mitzvah of returning it.
Right. If you had the item. So I said, if you still have the item, then you return the item. Fine. But if I already used the item.
Even if you don't have it anymore, you still have a mitzvah to return it.
Yes, but what do you have to return at that time?
You don't have it anymore. It's gone, finished, eaten, thrown out.
So you have to pay it back now. So you have to pay, then you have to pay the $4. Yeah.
Not that's in regards to what you're referring to. I'm referring
Payment.
to after.
Okay. Well, let's ask someone who is involved with Choshen Mishpat. We can figure out from there. All right. Here's the next one, guys. Here's the next one. All right. Here. This is actually that happens sometimes. Let's see this one. A family was spending Pesach at a hotel with their baby. The program included many shiurim and lectures on various topics. On Shabbat afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Hoffman wanted to attend a certain shiur together. The baby needs to sleep, and they need to find someone to watch him in the room, so they can't just put him off in the babysitter and the play group. They need someone to come into the room. Mrs. Hoffman said to her husband, "Do you have any ideas?" So he says, "Yeah, I see our neighbors are here with their teenage daughters. See if one of them is willing to babysit for 2 hours." So the wife says, "You think it's normal to ask them? It's they're also on vacation." He says, "Listen, it doesn't hurt to ask. If it's not good for them, they won't do it." So they went down. And now the husband, the father, right, he says, "I would like to hire," she says on Shabbat, "I would like to hire one of the girls to babysit in the room for 2 hours." They said, "We know it's your vacation. We're willing to pay you a little more." Remember, it's all Shabbat. "We're willing to pay you a little bit more than usual. And if it doesn't work for you, we'll find some other arrangement."
Hour and a half?
So they say, "We're willing to babysit for $20 an hour." They were about to close the deal when her father said, "Not so fast." So what's the problem? "We're just sitting here. I can earn some money." Father says, "It's Shabbat. Although babysitting doesn't entail any melacha, working on Shabbat is inherently problematic, even if it's just sitting in the room." She says, "But I babysit on Shabbat before, right? I've done babysitting on Shabbat before, and after Shabbat, people came and gave me the money. You didn't stop me then," she tells her father. Father says, "They can give you a gift afterward, but you can't take a job and charge money on Shabbat." So now the couple who wants to go to the shiur say, "What's the problem? What's the problem?" Baruch Hashem, it happens to be in this story that the same Rabbi Dayan, is sitting right next to them. So they say, instead of figuring this out on our own, we'll ask the rabbi, what's the story? Perhaps he can explain it better. So here's the explanation, we'll tell you. Rabbi Dayan explained, there's a Gemara, Bava Metzia, teaches us that a person is not allowed to charge payment for work on Shabbat, Schar Shabbat, even permitted work. You're not allowed to charge money for that. It's a kind of commerce, right? Doing business. Similarly, one is not allowed to charge rental payment for Shabbat or Yom Tov. However, if the payment for Shabbat is not distinct, but included in a larger payment, right? It is permitted. You're getting the Friday afternoon, you're getting Motzei Shabbat, you're getting other things. So you're paying for one big payment that includes everything, not just distinctly for Shabbat. Therefore, a weekly or monthly salary or rental fee is permitted if there isn't specific reckoning for Shabbat. You're not charging them just for Shabbat, you're charging them for the, stay Friday, Shabbat, Sunday, whatever it is. Mrs. Hoffman says, we pay the hotel for the services on Pesach and Shabbat. We pay for each day that we went to the room. Not only that, the Hazan comes special for the Yamim Noraim, comes for Pesach, comes for that, and we pay him to do Hazanut on the Yom Tov, on the Shabbat. So Rabbi Dayan explains, payment to the hotel is not Schar Shabbat, since the hotel is operating expenses during the week, so this is all one big lump sum payment. Bahavla, right? This is all one big payment. The payment covers, for example, purchase of food, cleaning the room, and after Shabbat, it's not just for Shabbat. Furthermore, since the hotel day is not reckoned from sunset till sunrise. No one's charging you from Friday night to Saturday night, right? They're not charging you like that. They're charging you already from 3 p.m. Right? When you check in is 3, all right? And check out is 11. So you're getting charged part of the day. Includes part of the weekday. All commercial reckonings, all commercial hotels work this way. So you're not paying just for Shabbat. What about the Hazan? So Shulchan Aruch writes that some say you're not allowed to pay for Hazan for Shabbat Yom Tov, and some allow it. Those who allow it, and we pass in this way also, that it's for a mitzvah. When it's done for a mitzvah, you're allowed to pay for that on Shabbat on Yom Tov. Meaning a Hazan, you're allowed to bring him in on Yom Noraim to do stuff just on Yom Noraim. It's better that he comes before and he does a slichot, he does an Erev Yom Tov tefillah, he does it after. So this way it's all in one big lump sum. But even if not, there is room to permit to pay for schar mitzvah on Shabbat. So therefore it would be okay. But the hiring itself cannot be done on Shabbat. You have to already book him before Shabbat, before Yom Tov. Then you can pay him for what he did on Shabbat as a mitzvah. But you can't go and hire him on Shabbat. Say, go, I'm going to hire you now. You can't do that.
So if you hire him before Shabbat, you work from beginning of Shabbat to the end of Shabbat?
For mitzvah. Hazanu? Ken? Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. That'll be okay.
It's not your melacha shel Shabbat?
No, it's melacha on Shabbat. But it's for mitzvah. It's better. Shulchan Aruch says some forbid it, some permit it. La'alacha we say it's permissible. However, we say the best thing is to do is to give him a little bit before, a little bit afterhand to do. But if he didn't, it's okay. It'll be fine. I mean, Avan will be okay. The same thing with payment to a doctor or a midwife, right? Either because it's a mitzvah, or they also provide care before or care after. All right. So halacha l'maaseh, in this case, they were not able to hire the babysitter on Shabbat to do the babysitting on Shabbat. So important halacha to know.
I know that. So the caterers also they work on Shabbat.
Right.
So it's specific on Shabbat.
No, it's not. What about all the prep work they're doing on Friday and Thursday?
For Shabbat.
What is all the prep work that they're doing? They're making the food.
You're not paying for the prep. You're paying for him catering on Shabbat.
Right.
Whatever he does, how he gets it, maybe he gets it everything ready. That's his choice.
He's bringing it in. He's doing other stuff. So everything is done as a lump sum payment. And if you want to say it's a mitzvah, I guess you need to eat food on Shabbos, and it's a kiddush, and it's for sheva brachot and stuff like that. You can say it's for a mitzvah, and it's possible. You'd have to ask questions on that, but I can see it being permissible. Definitely, but if he's doing work beforehand, he's setting up, he's bringing in, he's going to clean up afterwards, there's stuff to do, take and stuff like that. So then you're just doing a lump sum payment, and that would be okay. And that's the way usually most times it works. We have minyan, Rabotai.